Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Yeah, last week Sony presented two new cameras. This was the Sony Cybershot DSC-RX100 and the DSC-RX100MII. First a short step to the RX1R. It's almost exactly the same than the RX1. It has a full frame sensor. The camera design is exactly the same. The functions are the same. The only difference is the new one, the RX1R, doesn't have a low pass filter. The reason why Sony did this is because they want the absolute maximum sharpness, the absolute maximum of details. So the low pass filter is gone, and you can decide by yourself if you want to have the RX1 with the low pass filter or the RX1R without the low pass filter. They cost exactly the same. The functions, features and the design is exactly the same. So the only difference is maybe that the RX1R gets a little bit, gives you a little bit more sharpness, a little bit more details. I tried it. I take pictures with both cameras and I compared the pictures. I think the difference is very minor. So you can decide by yourself. The problem is maybe you get some more rays with the RX1R because of the missing low pass filter. Maybe I make a test, a special test for the Moires in a few weeks when I get RX1R for testing, but by now I only can say that the difference is very minor, and I didn't get a Moire with the RX1, never when I take pictures with the RX1, even if I take pictures of clothes with very fine patterns or something like that. So, but it's up to you to decide by yourself. So let's go to the more interesting camera in my opinion. That's the RX100MII. Because there are some very interesting changes, and I think Sony did a very good job with a new one. So this is the RX100MII, and if you look very careful, you see one of the first differences between the old model and the new model. That's up here. You see there you have a flash shoe, but it's not only a flash shoe. You can put there some accessories of the Sony line, and one of the most interesting accessories in my opinion is the electronic viewfinder. It's not cheap, the electronic viewfinder, but it has excellent quality. It has a high resolution, 2.4 million dots, I think, and it is really a very nice viewfinder you can put on your camera. If you go to my internet site or if you go to my Flickr account, you will see some pictures where I have the electronic viewfinder on the camera. In my opinion, it works really fine, and it's a real nice accessory you can put on your RX100MII, and it gives you much more control in bright light of the camera. You can set the focus point very exactly. You can go to the menus very fast. Because you see everything very clear, and I think it's a very good thing to have the electronic viewfinder if you want to make a little bit more professional pictures only in bright sunlight. Next point, if you look from the side of the camera, you see the LCD screen, and it's a little bit thicker. Yeah, the reason why it's a little bit thicker, because it's a turnable. You can pop out the screen like this and move it down like this. So you have a little bit more control while taking pictures, especially if you have some macro pictures close to the bottom. You can look from the top of the camera on the screen. It gives you a little bit more control. It helps you a little bit easier to take pictures in different positions. It's not a touch screen, it's only a turnable screen, but I think that's a real good step in the right direction. Next point, if you look also careful on the side, you see there's the Wi-Fi sign, and that means that the RX100 Mark II has a built-in Wi-Fi module, and if you look on the bottom you see this small sign here. This means NFC chip, so the new one has also an NFC chip. What does this mean? If you have a smartphone or a mobile device with an NFC chip, you can put these two together and they get the connection over the NFC chip for the Wi-Fi connection, and you can send the pictures very easy from the camera from the Sony to your smartphone. So that's a very easy way to transmit the pictures, because you don't have to put in the Wi-Fi key. You only put both things together, and the connection, the Wi-Fi connection, is ready for transmitting. So that's very easy. So you can share a picture to your friend if he has a smartphone with an NFC sensor. So that works very nice, and it's very easy to connect both devices. Yeah, as I told you before, we have the turnable screen. That's a very nice feature. So let's have a short look to the different buttons and dials of the camera. So on the top, as I said, we have the flash shoe or the accessory shoe. We have the on-off switch. Then we have the zoom lever, and we have the dial for the different program modes. We have PASM, then we have MR. MR is for the three memories. You can put up 3 different settings in the memory, and you can select them very fast. So you can make one setting for portrait, one for landscape, one for black and white, and you can choose them very fast in the menu. So you can change the settings between different scenes very fast and very easy. Next point is the camera. If you go to this one, you have the camera settings or the movie settings or video settings. Then you have the panorama function, scene mode, the intelligent mode, and the more intelligent mode. I think it's a little bit funny because they are both intelligent modes, but they are a little bit different. So now we go to the back side of the camera. On the back side of the camera we have the large screen, not touch screen as I said before. We have the button to start a movie. You have the FN button. I show you a little bit later how this will work. You have the menu button, then you have the dial with the 4-way button, replay, and here you have the question mark and trash button. So just before we go to the menu, I change the language so it's a little bit easier. We have the English menu and not the German menu. So here we are in the English menu. So I give you a short overview over the camera, and then I show you some nice features which we have into the menu. First of all, we have the display button, and if you press the display button, you have the different display settings. As you see, we have a 3D level meter here. You see, this one works in this direction and in this direction too. So we have this 3D level meter. And we have the different settings of the display. Once you push the button, you go to the next step. Then on the side we have the flash button where you can pop up the flash. If you go like auto and start the camera, check if you go like this and then you press the button, the shutter release, you see the flash pops up. You can put the flash a little bit backwards, so that's a really nice function, because if you push the flash a little bit backwards, you can flash indirect over the top of your room, or if you have a white paper or something like that, you can work indirect for the flash, and it's very nice to get a little bit more smooth light if you work with the flash. Then we have the function for the drive mode, single shot, serial mode, constant shooting with priority, with the speed priority. Then you have the self timer and self portrait for 1 or 2 persons. and then you have the self timer, 10 seconds and 3 image, and you have the bracketing 0.3 or 0.7 f-stops difference, and you have the white balance bracketing, and that's it. One thing, if you use the camera, you should see if there's a small arrow beside the sign here on the vertical menu. If there's a small arrow, you can choose between different settings. So always when you see a small arrow here, you just have to put the right and the left button to change or toggle between different settings. Some menus only have one setting, some others have like 3 or 4 or 6 settings, so you can change between the different settings always when you see the small arrow here in the vertical menu. Yeah, so I have to stop the flash. So one thing, the FN button, that's a real nice function of the Sony. Usually you have, usually when you use an FN button, the FN button has only one setting. So you press the FN button and then you have one setting. The Sony works a little bit different. When you press the FN button, you will see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different settings you can choose from. So go to the setting you want to change. If you want to change the white balance, just go to the white balance and then turn the dial, and you see you have the different white balance settings. Go to the picture effect, and then you turn the dial and you have the different picture effects. Same for the image quality or the creative style or the ISO setting. So that's a very nice feature, and it's very easy to make up different settings very fast. And the good thing is you can choose by yourself which settings do you want to have on the FN button. So it's not only 7 settings which are given, you can choose them by yourself. So if you want to change often the ISO setting, take the ISO setting. If you want to change other things, you can choose other things. I will show you later in the menu how this works. So that's a very nice feature. Next very nice feature I like very much, that's the ring in front of the camera. You see, you have the dial here in front of the camera, and you can customize this dial by yourself. So the function of this ring you can customize like you want it, and if you are in the FN function, you can change the settings which you have chosen. You don't have to turn this dial, you also can turn the front dial. But if you are not in the FN settings, let's go out of the FN settings just by pressing the shutter release. If you're out of the FN settings, you have different settings which you can choose from. So let's see. Now I have the focal length. I can change the zoom by just turning the dial. You see, I turn the dial in front of the camera, and you see the setting is changed, and you see this on the screen. That's a very nice picture, so you can see which focal lengths do you have actually on the RX100 Mark II. So as I said, you can customize this ring by yourself. Movie button is, if you want to start a movie all the time, you can make the setting like this. So every time you press the movie button, a video starts. If you have big thumbs like me and you sometimes push the movie button accidentally, you can change the setting so that the movie button only works if you are here on top on the movie program. So let's have a short look in the menu. First of all, the menu is like the DSLR menu of the Sony. So I think this menu is the best which Sony offers. They have different settings, different menus in the necks, and they have different menus also in the compact cameras. and this one is the setting of the SLT or DSLR. Sony called it SLT because you have the translucent mirror in the camera. The mirror doesn't pop up and down like in the normal DSLR, and they have the same menu also in the RX1. And I like this menu very much because it's clear, it's easy, it's very simple. You have it very straight in the horizontal and in the vertical line. You can change very easy the settings. You don't have over menu buttons or stuff like that. So I like this menu very much. For me, it's the best of the Sony menus of all the different cameras they offer. So first of all, you have the image size. You have the different settings in the image size from large, medium to small. Then you have the aspect ratio. Start from 3 to 2, 16 to 9, 4 to 3, and 1 by 1. One little thing. In the 16 to 9 aspect ratio, you don't have the full HD resolution or image size. So I would like to have, when I go to 16 by 9, I would like to have a full HD resolution 1920 to 1080, because so I have the origin picture size of HD TV, and so you don't have to scale it up to scale it down. But unfortunately, Sony doesn't have this. Quality, you have the different fine or standard JPEG qualities, and you have RAW plus JPEG. For sure, a camera like this RAW is a must-have, so there's no other opinion. You have the panorama size and the panorama direction. These two are only highlighted if you choose the panorama function on top of the camera and control with your smartphone. That works really nice. You connect the Sony to your smartphone. You have to have the app on your smartphone, and then you connect both either with typing in the Wi-Fi key of the camera, or connect with the NFC chip, and then you can remote control your camera from the smartphone. It works very easy. It's very nice, and yeah, it's a nice feature. Next point is the drive mode. And in the drive mode you have the different settings. As I showed you before, you can go directly to the drive mode just by pressing the button here on the 4-way dial. As I said before, you have the different speed, you have the self-timer, and the bracketing functions. Next point in the menu, you have the flash mode, then you have the focus mode. In the focus mode you have 4 different settings. You have the single shot autofocus, then you have the continuous autofocus, and you have the DMF. DMF is a combination of manual focusing and autofocusing. First you press the button, then the camera makes the autofocus, and then if you're in the autofocus, you just turn the dial in front of the camera and you see you have the magnification, and you can make the manual focus, and you will see the exactly sharpness of the picture. And one thing you see when I work in this mode is the small white dots on my skin. This is the peaking function, because if you're in manual focus mode or in DMF mode, you can start the peaking function, and there you have a little bit better control about the sharpness of the camera. And as I said before, you not only have the DMF mode with a combination of autofocus and manual focusing, you also have the manual focus mode where you have the full control of the focusing of the camera. So let's go back to the AFS mode and back in the menu. Then you have the autofocus area, and you have the different settings. You have the multi autofocus area, that's almost the whole area of the field. Then you have the center, and you have the flexible spot. And flexible spot works very easy. You have the spot here on the camera screen, and you can move it on a place you want to have it. Just press the middle button, and then if you press the shutter release a little bit, you will see the camera focus on the point you have set, and you can change it just by pressing the middle button of the 4-way dial. then go back, and you see the camera has the new point, and you see if I press the button again, you will see here the camera focus on the background where I have the autofocus point. No, that works very fine, very simple, very easy to change the different autofocus areas. Next point is the soft skin effect. You can make the skin a little bit softer. Smile and face detection, outer object framing. That's a function. You have to work with it. The camera try to find a frame where it frames the part of the scene. So you have to work a little bit with it. I don't need it actually, but maybe it's a nice function to have some fun with it. ISO, as I said before, one important thing, the RX100M2 has a new sensor. So this one has, compared to the old model, the RX100, has the XMOR sensor, and the XMOR sensor has a little bit more ISO sensitivity. So you can go up not only to 6400 like the RX100, you can go up to 12,800. So that's one step higher. And what is about the picture quality, I hear asking? I tell you later about the picture quality. So let's be a little bit patient, but I tell you something about the picture quality of the RX100 Mark II. Metering mode is, you have the multi-mode, you have the center mode, you have the spot metering. Then next point is the flash compensation, white balance. I show you later on a little bit more to the white balance. Then you have the DRO or auto HDR. So you have different settings of the D-range optimizer, and as I said before, if there's a small arrow you can change between different settings. So I show you now. If you press the button, you will see you have the different settings of the DRO mode, or you can go up, you can go down to the auto HDR mode, and also here you have the different settings and the different HDR modes up to 6 or 7, six f-stops. Pictures are different pictures of the results of the different HDR mode. I will show you on my Flickr account. There you can see the different results of the different settings of the DRO mode and the HDR mode. So let's go back to the menu. Then we have the creative style. I think it's a little bit confusing because the creative style, in my opinion, is the picture style. So in the Sony uses a creative style for the different picture settings. So you have the standard mode, you have vivid, portrait, landscape, sunset, and black and white. And one thing you have also, you can make different individual settings of the different creative styles. So just press the button and then you are here down in the different individual settings. You can change contrast, saturation, and sharpness. So these are the different settings you can make individual at the creative style. Next point in the manual is the picture effect, and the picture effect are, in my opinion, these are the fun features. Toy camera, magenta, pop color. You see, this one is real nice. The polarization color, retro photo, soft high key, partial color yellow. And you see again, here we have the yellow, here we have the small arrow. So if you press the button, you have the different partial color settings. You have partial color green, red, yellow. So these are, and blue. So these are the different settings, green, of the camera. So again, if you see a small arrow here, you have different settings of the effect. So, and then you have the soft focus high and HDR painting, and so these are the miniature, watercolor, illustration, and that's it. So you have some very nice picture effects. I mean, there are not so many like other cameras have, but I think there are enough picture effects or creative effects to design your photo and make a real nice change of your image. Then you have the clear image zoom, you have the digital zoom, long exposure noise direction, high ISO noise reduction. Then you have the AF illuminator, that's the small light in front of the camera. Steady shot. Steady shot is so-called from Sony, is for the image stabilizer. So a steady shot is the lenses works against your shivering of your hand, so to get a real sharp image, also with a little bit longer exposure time. Then you have the color space, sRGB or Adobe RGB. Then you have a shooting tip list where you can get some tips for your different settings. You see we have here shooting close-up with macro, and the camera gives you some tips and some explanations how to work in the different settings. Then write date. If you want the date in the picture, you can start this one. And then the memory settings. Here you have the different settings of the memory. As I said before, there are 3 different settings you can change from, and so these are the different settings. So you can make up, you see that you have the resolution, you have all the different stuff you can change, and just go on the MR on top of the camera, and then you can choose from the 3 different registers, and you can change very fast between the different settings, and very nice feature. Next point is the video mode. Here we have the file format AVCHD or MP4. AVCHD is the better format, and then you have the record settings, and it goes up to 50p 28 megabit per second, 50e and 25p is the lower frame rate. One very important thing, you can change between the German PAL system, TV system, and the American NTSC system. If you change this, I'll show you where to change in the menu. Then I go back to the video menu. If you change the settings here, you have the PAL NTSC selector. If you change the settings, you have to format the SD card. Otherwise, you are not able to take movies in the new format. Always, when you change between PAL and NTSC, you have to format the SD card, and all the pictures and everything is gone on the SD card. It's very important to know. Otherwise, you can't take movies in the new video format. So that's very important to know if you change the format. And if you go to NTSC, you have not only 50p, you have then you have 60p in the recording settings, and you have the picture size for dual record if you want to take pictures while taking a movie. Steady shot, I told you before, is the image stabilizer, audio recording, wind noise reduction. And if you go to movie, let's have a short look. If you change to the movie program on the dial, you can change from PASM, so you can manual change the exposure, and that's the point also you have here in the menu. If I go to the menu, you see now we have the movie, and it's exactly the same. You can change from PAS or M, and you have the manual control if you take a movie. So let's go back to P and go back in the menu. So after the video menu, we have the general settings, red eye reduction, grid line. You have different kinds of grid lines. to choose from. You have the auto review, you can choose from 2, 5, 10 seconds or off. Then we have the display button. As I told you before, you have different settings and you can select which setting or which design you want to have. If you only want to have like the level meter and the graphic display, just put the mark only on these two, and you change with the display button only between these two. Maximum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different settings. That's the maximum you can choose from. Then you have the peaking level. As I told you before, the peaking is for manual focusing to see if the picture is real sharp. You get the small outline on the sharp, on the detail, if the sharpness is perfect. And you have different settings from high, mid, low to off peaking level, and you can change the peaking color. I have white, you can change to yellow and red. Next point is the control ring. As I said before, you can change the function of the controller in front of the camera. My setting now is zoom, but you can change it and you can go to white balance, creative style, picture effect, aperture. So you have different settings to choose from. Also, you can set it to the ISO setting if you want to change the ISO setting very fast and often. Just put the ISO setting on the control ring and that's it. One thing, if you have the zoom function on the control ring, you can change between step or standard. What means step? If you go to step, I show you, and if you go to step and make a turn on the front dial, you see you have 28, 35, 50 or 70 or 100 millimeter. So you have 5 steps and you work not without the focal lengths in between. You only have these steps and that's it, not more. If you want to go back to the individual setting, just make the function to standard, and if you go to standard, you will see here, just by turning, you can make every step in between from 28 to 100 millimeter. There's every step. You will see, here we go. So this works perfect. So you can change if you only want to have 5 steps, or you have the whole area from 28 to 100 millimeter. So next point is the control ring display. That's what I showed you before. If you go to the control ring, you have the display on the screen. You can put it on or off. Next point is the function button. As I told you before, you have 7 different functions to choose from, and here we are, the different settings. I can show you which functions you can put there. Let's go to the top. It's exposure compensation, focus mode, autofocus area, ISO, drive mode, metering mode, flash mode, flash compensation, white balance, DRO, auto HDR, creative style, picture effect, soft skin effect, quality, image size, smile and face detection, aspect ratio, and that's it. So you have a lot of different settings you can put on the FN button, and in my opinion that's a very, very nice way to change the different settings very easy and very fast in the camera. Next point is the function control center button. This is of the center button. There's this one. You can change from standard, AEL toggle, or autofocus menu, focus control toggle. So you have different settings which you can put on the function of the center button. Same as the left and same as the right button. Then you have the movie button, as I told you before, always on or only on if you put the camera on the movie mode. MF assistant is if you want to have the magnification when you are in the manual focus thing. Focus magnification time is how long is the magnification. You can change from 2 to 5 seconds or no limit, so the camera always shows you the magnification if you're in the manual focus thing. And then you have the face registration. Next point is the replay. There you have the option to send it to a smartphone, to a computer, or view it on a TV. over the Wi-Fi function. You have to connect both, and that's it. And you can show pictures and not movies, but you can show pictures on the TV screen. Still movie select, there you can change between the replay of still pictures or movie. Delete slideshow is clear. Image index, protect. You can specify some pictures for printing. Picture effect, volume setting if you replay a video, and playback display is auto rotate. So if you take a high format, you can change it, or you can auto rotate it automatically, so you will see it in the right direction on the screen. Next point is the SD card format file number. Select the rec folder, new folder, recover image database, or display card space. If you press here, you see how many pictures you can take in fine resolution and how many time you have for the AVCHD recording. Next point is time and area settings. And then we go to the setup menu. Here you can change from previous to top. So if you take previous, if you go out of the menu and press the menu button again, you're on the same point you have left the menu. Mode dial guide, then you have the LCD brightness, power save, power saving start time, after how many minutes the camera goes in the standby mode. As I told you before, PAL NTSC selector, then you have the HDMI resolution, control for HDMI, USB, the different USB connections, audio signal, then you have the different Wi-Fi settings for the connection to the smartphone, to the computer, and to the television with the Wi-Fi built in. And then you have airplane mode if you're in airplane and want to switch off the Wi-Fi settings, version, language, drop sender, and initialize. Yeah, so these are the most important settings of the menus of the RX100. So let's have a very short look to the different settings here. As I've told you before, MR and video, then you have the sweep panorama function, and you have the different direction. You can sweep in this direction, up, down, left, right. You have the different formats for the size. If you go here to the panorama size, you have the standard, or you have the wide area for the panorama function. Then let's go to the scene mode, and in the scene mode you have the different settings for the scene mode. So let's start with the first thing, and the first thing is portrait. Then you have the anti-motion blur, sport, pet, food, macro, landscape, sunset, and you see here that a lot of scene programs you can choose from. I think there are enough programs so that you have always a program for the scene you want to take. And then the next point is the intelligent auto, where the camera make the shutter speed and the f-stop by herself, and ISO setting also, but not, and that's the next point, that's a superior auto. In the superior auto, the camera makes also reducing blur and noise, so that's one thing you don't have in the other auto intelligent mode. So let's go back to the program mode. The different settings, if you want to change the, or let's go back to the aperture. If you want to change the aperture, it's very easy. You see here you have the shutter time and you have the aperture. Just turn the dial and you see you change the aperture. If you want to make aperture if you want to make exposure correction, just press down, oops, and you go in the exposure correction. Here we are, just press the middle button and that's it. Same thing if you have the S mode. If you have the S mode, just turn the dial and you see you can go from 30 seconds up to 1/2000th of a second. And if you want here to make also the exposure correction, just press the down button here and you're just in the exposure correction. So that's very easy, that's very simple to change the settings in the manual mode. Exactly the same, just turn the dial and you are in the you change the time, just press the down button and you change the f-stop. So that's very easy and it's very simple to change the different settings of the camera, and you will learn it very fast, and you will get it in a very fast way to deal with the different settings of the camera. Coming to the most important point, these are the functions and features, but now coming to the most important point, and that's picture quality. When Sony told me that they have the new sensor, the X-R sensor, I hear this always. We have a new sensor, better picture quality, higher ISO and stuff like that, less noise, and I think okay, tell me, I will see it later if I get my pictures. Usually there's a little bit difference, but it's not a real big difference. Here we have a real step up. I think the picture quality of the RX100 II is a real good one. I think this one sets a benchmark in the compact camera class of this size of camera. Not compared to a system camera or a compact camera with interchangeable lens or DSLR for sure, but I think in the class of compact cameras, the RX100 II sets the benchmark. Even if you go up to ISO 6400, the picture is very clear and there's real less noise or low noise in the picture. It's sharp, it's brilliant, you see a lot of details, and even if you go up to 12,800, the picture quality, in my opinion, is real good. And not to talk about the low ISO settings, there the picture quality is amazingly good, and I think it's really one of the best picture qualities I've ever seen in a compact camera in this size. I mean, it's a pocket size compact camera, and so I cannot remember that I have seen a better picture quality like on a compact camera in this size. I have it compared. I know that's not fair, but I have compared it to the Nikon full frame DSLR D600, and it was really amazing how close the RX100 II comes to the picture quality of the D600. And I took pictures with the D600 with a 105mm macro lens, which has a real good picture quality. And I compare it, and the details. Okay, it's a little bit less detail, a little bit noisier, but this comes really to a very high level. So I was really astonished and wondered what Sony Sony did a real good job with the RX100 II, and the picture quality is real on a high level. Yeah, and all the other features of the camera, I like it very much. It's very handy. You have the electronical viewfinder. They have a extra grip for the camera. They have a holder for filters, so you can use an ND filter, because the camera doesn't have a built-in ND filter, but you can use an ND filter. You put the holder on the front lens of the camera, and you can use ND filters. As I said, you have the electronic viewfinder, you have the grip here. You can put an external microphone on the camera if you want to take movies, because the movie quality of the RX100 II is also really good. So I think this is the real good camera. It is a real nice package of good picture quality and good accessories and good features inside the camera. So I like the RX100 II very much. Yeah, I think Sony did a real good job with this one. So that's everything I have to tell you about the new camera from Sony. My review was a little bit longer, but I think it was worth because the camera has a lot of interesting features. Unfortunately, you have to wait a little bit to get this one because I think it comes end of August, maybe a little bit later, I don't know. Sony told the end of August the camera will come to the photographers, and yeah, so hope you enjoyed my review. On my internet site there are a lot of pictures, and unfortunately only in German. I have a long review for the camera. On my Flickr account you will see a lot of pictures taken with the RX100MII to compare, and there we will see the outstanding picture quality of this small digital camera. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back again, see me on my YouTube channel, see me on my internet page, have a look on my Flickr account where you see all of my pictures. Hope you had some fun and you learned a little bit about the new camera Sony DSC-RX100MII. And so have fun, take pictures, and till now I say moin moin.